I'm Reece Stein at your leisure in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And just in time for Halloween, we remember disaster at sea, death in the Atlantic, at the place where it all began. It was the ultimate night of terror for the 2,000 people on the ocean liner Titanic. And mimicking the shape of the Titanic's prow, the angular aluminum-clad Titanic Belfast Museum tells the tale. The building, 125 feet high, same as the doomed ship's hull, sits on the site where the ship was constructed from 1909 to 1912. Belfast is also remembered for the horrors of the Troubles, 30 years from 1969 to 1998 of bloody conflicts between Catholics and Protestants over political rule. Even now, high fences, painted murals, and steel gates locked after dark separate the factions, although violence has subsided. The Titanic Museum takes us through the construction of the ship. Thousands of workers are oblivious to the fate of their enormous creation. Just 7 days before she is to set sail on her maiden and only voyage, she undergoes sea trials. We celebrate her launch on May 31st and her ill-fated sail from Southampton to New York on April 10th, 1912. We stroll the deck while a virtual Atlantic roils below. Titanic receives 7 warnings of ice. 20 minutes to midnight, April 14th, she sideswipes an iceberg, and word goes out over the Marconi wireless. At 2 a.m., the bow is underwater and the passengers crowd to the stern. 2 hours and 40 minutes after striking ice, Titanic sinks into the Atlantic. The Carpathia arrives over an hour later and rescues 705 survivors, including Mrs. Margaret Brown of Colorado, unsinkable Molly Brown. But there were not nearly enough lifeboats, and only a third of the passengers survived. Also, 3 of 12 dogs aboard. 1,512 people die, maybe most famously multimillionaire fur trader John Jacob Astor. Many of the dead are buried here at the city cemetery in Halifax, Nova Scotia, the graves arcing out like the shape of the ship. Bob Ballard found the wreck in 1985 under 12,500 feet of water. Recovered artifacts include a deck chair, the violin played while the ship went down, and some kitchenware. Near the museum, the huge Thompson Dry Dock and Pump House, where Titanic was built, and next door the Nomadic, Titanic's little sister, built alongside the larger ship. She is a quarter the size and served as the tender, transferring passengers and cargo from ports not large enough for the Titanic. Her interior mirrors the luxurious furnishings of the Titanic and offers the closest experience to actually being on board the big liner. She ferried first and second class passengers from the shallow port of Cherbourg to Titanic moored offshore in deeper water.
I really quite enjoyed the Titanic experience. I've read a lot about the Titanic, and this is kind of a different way of looking at it. It's got all the facts and figures, but it's a little more artistic and emotional. I thought it was a great experience and a great thing to visit in Belfast.
The Belfast displays feature all the horrors and heroes of the Titanic experience. Reece Stein with Marianne in Belfast, Northern Ireland.